Okay, what's up, guys? I'm going to show you how to play B-site on Oilrig. Okay, so B-site on Oilrig, you guys, the first thing you have to be careful of is grenades, because one of the easiest things for teams to do is they can easily nade you out of position. Like, let's say you're playing side of sight. Well, guess what? They can just throw a nade off that wall, and it will bounce and land right on the side of sight, and it will kill you. So just make sure whenever you're playing, right, you're always aware of that and you're trying to like avoid it. Okay. So the main priority of B site is obviously, well, the CTs their job is to not die, but when you're trying to play B site, you need to do your best to just maintain this area. Okay, it's okay to let the T's on site, but you just need to try and like maintain the crossfires because when your teammates, they're gonna rotate in from Z, right? And they're gonna be like in from quad. So if they start pushing out onto you guys, you're gonna hopefully have multiple people to support you. So your job is to just not let yourself get overwhelmed. Okay, and how do you do that? Well, you just have to use counter utility. So if you want to play like on site, like normally I like a guy to play around here and then a guy to play back site or maybe over towards the vents, right? If you play towards the vents, you have to position carefully because you can like have like a really good angle against belong and you have to like navigate so that you're not exposed to them both at once. You don't want to be exposed to both at once. Okay, but let's say let's say you're playing on B and you start seeing utility to get thrown. Okay, right the moment like any utility gets thrown or even you hear a footstep, like your ass is throwing a grenade. Like you can throw it in B main around here, or you can just bounce it over to that wall. Oh, we can buy another nade. Yeah, you're either doing that, or you can just like throw it into the right side of B main and get nades because that's where people like to sit. They like to sit over here to throw their utility. That's your first instinct. It should be to nade it. Okay, if you're the center site guy. If you're the back site guy and you want to throw a nade, I would say nade B long because you can throw a really easy grenade onto B long and it's looking. All right, ignore that. All right, don't pretend like that didn't happen. Okay, but you can throw a nade and be long, and you can actually really easily kill because here's what's gonna happen, right? The B long guy has a nade thrown at them, so what's their instinct? They run away, and they're gonna run right into the frag grenade. How do I know? Because I've been that exact B long player. Okay, so that should be your first instinct. Okay, and then if you have time, right? If you're the backside guy, you can smoke off B long. In fact, at the start of the round, you should smoke off B long. But if not, let's say you're like the side of sight player, or maybe you're even alone on B site. Like you want to smoke off B main. Okay, that was way too deep. Right, pretend that didn't happen. You want to just throw a short smoke into B main and smoke them off so that it's going to be a lot harder for them to push. Okay. Now, flashbangs. The only thing you should be using your flashbang is the counter flash. If you get flashed, you throw a flash. If you don't, you die. That's pretty much it. That's all I have to say for B site. Okay, you want to like be playing around here. If they start taking the site and they're not looking at you, they're looking at your teammate. You can like play around and go here. Normally, there's going to be a smoke up here. So if that happens, you can actually reposition over to here and kind of play around the smoke. But you have to be ready to retreat when that smoke's about to dissipate. Okay, but yeah. And then the backside guy. Hopefully your quad player is suppressing so that you can have trust. But yeah, you just want to like try and play close. And then when they start pushing, like you want to try and get a crossfire with your teammate. Because remember, if you guys both swing out, this whole area is a crossfire. And so you have a little meat grinder for when they try and push out B main. Okay? Just be aware of the utility, use your counter utility. You don't need to be too aggressive, but yeah, just like maintain the space. Okay, that's pretty much it that I have for B site. All right, guys, what's up? I am going to show you how to play quad. Okay, so let's go over the main purpose of quad. The point of quad is straight up to take care of B long. You should be head peeking this and just like trying to like gun them down as much as you can. Okay, I'm kind of bad, but ignore that. Okay, the quad player's job is entirely just to suppress B long. Okay, if you don't suppress B long will kill your teammates. Okay, they will kill your backside player, and you are going to have a very bad time because your teammates are going to yell at you. That's your entire job, is just to suppress quad. Okay, if the T's take site, a really good grenade is if you just chuck it off that back wall and it will land on the side of site. It's not the most effective, but it's not a bad idea. Another good one is if you're just trying to. Okay, that was terrible. Okay, another decent one is if you just try and like throw it towards that pillar. Okay, apparently I can't throw it right now, but I mean it's one that you can work on. Most of the time, you should probably be saving your grenade for the post plant. But if let's say your teammates lose B site, so the T's like they've killed both your teammates. If they killed both your teammates, right, and B long's not right when they kill both of your teammates, you need to be like kind of crouching right here and just trying to like hold this space, because a lot of people, especially in SMM and in lower ranks, they will just rush out to try and kill you. So try and like give yourself as much cover as possible. You know, use your flashes if you can. Like they're about to take that space, so you throw a flash, and then you fucking like you shoot based off of it, right? There's not really much with smokes. Honestly, you might just be better with flashbangs, but smokes can be really useful in the post plant. Or let's say they killed your teammates, you can just chuck a smoke here, and this will give you the retreat option to pop flash. So you can use smokes to bail you out of bad situations, but it's not like the smoke's not a requirement, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Okay, the other job of the quad player is to be watching underpass when told so. So when that happens, right, you can just jiggle or you can just sprint peek. You can do whatever you want, like if you're confident in your aim, you can jiggle and try and take the fight, but just remember, a lot of times people send two people, okay? So if you see two people, don't fight it. Just give it up, let them take elbow control, okay? But yeah. All right, so like if you see one person, you can maybe fight that because you have like a slight advantage in the fight because they have to be out in the open and you don't. But you mostly just want to be like sprint peeking it. You can even just like peek like this with your gun down, so that's pretty fast. And you just want to be able to see the info. Because you just need to tell your team if they're going underpass or if they're not, because then they don't have to worry about elbow. But that's your main job. If you want to rotate, you can either go Z or you can go under. If you go underpass, don't go fast, right? Be cautious. A lot of people like lurking. You want to like pre-aim with some of these angles. This angle's common, this angle's common, and then this angle's common. These are the, so when you're trying to go into clear, you should be clearing this and then that. Try and stay tight with your jiggles so that you're only exposed to one at a time, okay? And you pretty much just walk up and you just slowly take elbow control, okay? When you're going to take elbow control, you want to look right to clear this corner, and then this corner, and then like that. You want to be very precise with your movements and your pre-fires. That's pretty much like every map you need to be precise with that, but and then you jiggle up. Normally, you wanna clear to the left and then move to the right, and then you can take elbow control, and then you can support your team on the retake. Don't try. If you do get elbow control, you don't need to be too aggressive. You want to let your team make a distraction. Like you can tell them, like, guys, just start shooting your guns, and then you can swing off. Because when the T's are looking this way, they're not looking this way. So just be aware of that. But that is all I have to say for quad. Hopefully, you found this helpful. All right, what's up, guys? I'm going to show you how to play mid on Oilrig. Okay. So there's a lot of different ways to play mid. Generally, the passive approach is the better approach because of nades. So you just want to normally just like jiggle around here, right? And you want to try and spot the cross if they try and cross. Or you can sit from Z. In fact, later in the round, you should be sitting from Z. If you're worried at all that you can get flash rushed, you should always be sitting in Z. But yeah, you can just jiggle and sprint peek it. You don't really need to fight it. Your job in Z is the fact that you can be everywhere at once. You can support the A long while also being able to instantly support the B site. Okay? That's your main job, okay? And it's also to not die, okay, right? That's every position. It's to not die, okay? But you can sprint peek it. Oh, that was terrible. I keep on pressing this corporate. Yeah, so you can just sprint peek it like that, or you can just jiggle like with that. If you see people take bridge control, you should generally just like talk to your A player and do a crossfire. So like what I like to do is I like to say call my A player and then flash out, and you can get a bit of a crossfire and like mow them down. But yeah, if the T's are ever going A, right? Z is obviously a super powerful spot because you have like an angle on them as they cross. But if you're like playing like over here, right, trying to play a little bit closer, you have to be careful because a lot of people like working in an oil room. So just make sure that somebody's always watching that. Okay, it's more important to just give up A site and hold this than to just be watching this and then end up getting shot in the back of the head. Okay. So always make sure somebody's watching oil room. Normally what I like to do is I like to tell my B-side players to rotate and take oil room so that I don't have to worry about it. But that's obviously not always going to be the case and not always going to be what you can do. So you can play NC to hide from it if you want to. Otherwise, somebody's got to be holding for oil room. Okay. All right. Now the utility. There is not really that much important. There are 3 grenades that are actually pretty useful. One is something I suck at, but it's just chucking the nade down mid. You want to like cook it a little bit, and normally you can tag people if they go mid and they run into it, which oftentimes they do. Okay, but that's pretty much the only nade you need to know. If you want to play aggressive on mid, you want to just like jiggle the stairs, right? You can like play around the ramp to like maximize your cover and like try and go for that. But just be aware that the T's can like easily nade you. So if you like if the T's are like expecting you to do that, they're just gonna nade you like that, and you will get killed by that nade. I mean, I know I fucked it up there, but the nade will fuck you up. A lot of people know that nade. They will try and beat you up. Another fantastic grenade is retaking A site, right? You can just chuck it over towards the bomb plant on A, and you will get a really easy kill. Or you can chuck it at A long. These are both really powerful grenades, right? You nade the cross, and you will get a lot of damage. So they're fantastic retake nades. Another grenade is right when they're trying to push out, you can throw a nade out on the cross. You can even if they start throwing utility, you can throw that B main grenade that I talked about for the B-state players. But yeah, that's pretty much like the main utility that you guys can know. And yeah, that's pretty much how to play oil mid on oil. Okay, what's up, everybody? I'm going to show you how to play a long on oil room or oil rig. God damn it. Okay, so firstly, I just want to go over a common trap. Okay, this is not a good spot to play. You know, people think, oh, well, it's a long range and I have like a bit of a head peak. Okay, well, the problem with that is that T's, when they take a long control, they're gonna like triple swing and you're just gonna get mowed down. And even if you don't instantly die and you try and crouch and hide here, you have no retreat options. There's no you have to like run out in the open. The best thing you can hope to do is drop a smoke and then retreat. Although by then it's probably gonna be too late. They're probably gonna already be rushed towards you. Okay, so don't play here and don't play here. If you want, you can play elbow room if your name is Benjamin VR. You can just sprint peek it, or even like you can kind of like jiggle it a little bit. But I would like if you're gonna jiggle it, try and be like fast with the jiggles. You know, like and try to be really tight because you don't want to die. You know, you can take a couple pop shots. Whatever. You don't want to fight a long because there's 3 people there. A 3v1 fight is not a good fight to take. Okay, so the best way to play a long is literally just sprint peeking, right? Like you see this, like you just sprint peek. Oh, apparently I can't sprint peek. But yeah, you just sprint peek and then you call the info, okay? Now, let's say you see people A long, okay? You now have a few choices, okay? You need a retreat, okay? You can go virus, you can go like anywhere on site, go wherever. Just communicate it to your mid player that they can support you the right way. But yeah, like one of my favorite spots is just retreating to virus. You can sit here and you can hope your teammate will scream at you like when they're trying to like cross and push you. You can play this part of Virus. You can play anywhere. Whatever you do, just don't do the same thing every time. Okay, you have to be a little bit unpredictable. Another good idea is simply just to drop a smoke right when you see people, so that you're gonna buy time for your team to rotate in. Okay, but yeah, you can drop that smoke and get into a good retreat spot. You can play under those stairs and crouch under. You can try and like rat here, right, and just like hold for elbow. There's a bunch of different spots you can play. Generally, it's better to just fall back. Like playing like back Virus is a really good spot, right? Because you can get like a bit of an annoying angle on the tees. But yeah, that's honestly it for the A long. Okay, if your mid player asks, you often should go bridge. And how you will support your mid player bridge is you won't just trying to like tightly hold this angle. You can actually even play from, I think it's right here. You can get a bit of a nasty angle on the oil room person, because a lot of people aren't going to be ready for that. But you do need to be careful, is you don't want to expose yourself to the mid while also exposing yourself. Like here, I'm exposed to both, right? But if I'm here, I'm only exposed to one. So always be aware you're managing your angles, and you can swing oil. And yeah, that's pretty much everything there is to playing A site on Oilrig.